Good afternoon. Ma'am, do you have 5 minutes for an interview? Hey guys. Do you want to have like 5 minutes for an interview?
Sure.
Okay. Can I live stream and record you?
Yeah, that's
All right.
fine.
Thank you.
Cool.
You too?
Sure.
All right, good. What's up?
Hey.
Are you guys done with class or?
Yeah, I didn't have class today, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Just hanging out.
Yeah, we were studying together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What are you guys taking?
Accounting.
Yeah.
Sucks a lot.
I hated accounting. I got a D in it, and I was so happy to pass it. I hope you guys do better at it. What I'm doing is just having a brief conversation with anyone to see what supernatural belief that when I talk to two people, it helps if it's a commonly shared supernatural belief. Do you guys believe in something supernatural?
Did you talk to Bree Mc?
Bree, black woman.
No, short white girl.
Oh, okay.
I think she mentioned that she talked to you before.
I talked to a Bree, but she was wearing a backwards baseball cap. She was a skinny black girl that maybe was like this tall.
Okay, now this was like a
Bree.
So.
You know, it's kind of a blur.
The last name Bree or something. Oh,
I don't know.
I thought it was
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right,
It's quite possible.
Okay.
Do you mind telling me what she told you so I can jog my memory?
She's part of the same organization that he and I are in. We're both in a college ministry called Crew. So.
Oh, you're in Crew. Okay. Oh, I did talk to a woman that's in Crew.
Yeah. Kind of
What does she
brunette
look
hair,
like?
sorta.
She's real short. Brownish
eyes.
hair. Yeah, brown eyes.
It's more than likely I did. I just don't remember.
Okay.
Was her experience pleasant, or what did she tell you?
Well, actually, I mean, I think she said that she talked to you and that she wanted to try to talk to you again.
Oh.
I think.
Can I give you a card to give to her?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, and I was going to give you guys the same card.
Cool. Because I remember.
I'll give it to you.
Because you said that you talked to somebody who was live streaming an interview.
That's me. That's got to be. I'm probably the only person who's doing it. Yeah, I probably talked to her.
Yeah.
And I do remember talking to a female member of Crew, and I thought it was unusual.
Yeah.
Although maybe it's common. I don't know.
We have a little group me, and she posted like that she just wants some people to pray with her about it, because she wasn't sure how she presented herself and stuff, and she wanted to make sure she was like,
Oh, okay.
bring a good image for God
Yeah.
and stuff. So.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I other than the live stream that probably went out on that, I haven't released any video with her.
Okay.
Because if I do a YouTube video, I tend to remember the name more, so I probably didn't use the footage. But
Okay.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's kind of cool.
So are you guys in the same group?
Yeah, we are.
We're both
Okay.
in Crew.
What's your name? First name?
Daniel. Yeah.
Daniel. And yours?
Beau.
B-O?
B-E-A-U.
B-E-A-U.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's an odd one.
What's that?
I said it's an odd one. Odd name.
You know, I've given up assuming, even when someone says Daniel, I'm still not sure if the spelling is the traditional way. So do you guys both believe in the Christian God?
We do.
Yes, we do.
Okay. What I find in these joint interviews, and I normally time it for 5, but I have to tell you, it's kind of impossible to do 5 with 2 people.
Sure.
Right.
So I'll try to keep it close to that.
Okay.
Take as much time as you need, really.
Okay, thank you.
We're always interested in talking about our faith, so it's fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're both student leaders in the organization. We actually both do Bible studies, not together though. We do separate ones. But
Oh, are you guys leaders?
Yes.
yeah, we're
students,
student leaders.
but
So
we-
Student leaders.
it just basically means we don't get paid,
Yeah.
but we're kind of volunteers in the organization.
You know, if I was passionate about a belief and I really thought it was true, I'd probably do the exact same thing.
Right.
But the conversation that I have with people is to identify and examine the reasons why you hold the belief,
Right.
and poke it and prod it and see if it's reliable.
Absolutely.
In a respectful manner.
Right. Of
Like, I'm
course.
not going to be confrontational.
Of course, yeah. It's natural human curiosity. I don't blame people for asking questions about it.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. Good.
So
Good. Okay. So you're student leaders of Crew. You obviously believe in the God. How strong of a belief do you have if 0% is no confidence, it's all doubt, and 100% is all confidence and no doubt? And before you answer, try not to let the other person's answer influence you. So if you give a number, try not to, and vice versa.
Right.
Okay? So maybe on the count of 3, just spit out where you are on that.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
100.
Okay, you're all at 100. Okay. Next, I want to get an idea of why you're at the 100%.
Sorry, what's your name?
Did I not give it? It's Anthony.
Hi, Anthony. Nice to meet you.
Hey, pleasure. I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're fine.
didn't mean to be rude. Yeah. Well, you guys threw me off with the whole crew thing and asking about her.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Okay, so I next want to get an idea of the main reason why you think it's true. Okay? And again, if you can just maybe, can you boil it down to 1 or 2 words or 3 words?
Ooh, that'd be hard.
I was gonna use something, but now 3 words is gonna be
10.
okay. Well, okay. So because
And don't let him influence you.
because we're student leaders, we use this thing called this is way over 10 words, by the way. We use this thing called life concepts with our students, and one of the things is stepping from uncertainty to confidence in Christ.
Oh,
And, I actually just
that's
went over
perfect for
that.
this discussion.
Yeah, I just went over that with one of my the students that I'm speaking with. So I know that's way over 10 words, but
Okay,
yeah.
so, but I'm kind of lost. What is it about the life concepts approach that makes you think that how does that have any influence on the 100% that you're at?
So basically, it's like we do it with students that are kind of new and we don't know where their faith is right now. So we just say, hey, we don't know where you're at, but if you're having like uncertainty, we have we can show you how to have confidence in your faith, kind of.
Okay, wow.
So,
And did you go through that process, and then is that why you have no uncertainty and you're all?
well, it helps bring light to having confidence in Christ.
Right, but
okay.
you did it last year, though. So you're saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did it last year,
Yeah.
and now I'm sharing it with students this year.
Were you? I hate to keep focusing on you, but it's and we'll get to you. Were you ever a lower spot and you've migrated to the 100?
I think yes,
Okay.
but
I appreciate your honesty.
yeah, I would say yes, especially with when I was a new believer, and I think that's
Yeah.
very often. In fact, in the life concepts, it uses the analogy of a marriage. Right before you get married, so I'm sure, like, I don't know, I've never been married, but you might have like this is one of the biggest decisions of my life, and I don't know what's about to happen. And so when you're when you're living in sin and you are just starting off, I think it could be kind of easy and natural tendencies to have uncertainty, unless you have somebody that can share with you the confidence that Christ can give you.
Okay. Wow. Seems like you really thought about it. Okay. How about you, Daniel? What's that main reason why you think it's true?
It all boils down to faith, and I know that's the most, the worst thing you can hear as an atheist. I can attest to that because I was an atheist myself before I came to Christ.
How do you define an atheist?
How do I define an atheist? I would say one who recognizes, because there's some people who are agnostic, and I think that's different because they're still searching. I would say an atheist is someone who is sure that there is no spiritual or religious phenomenon out there, that anything can be explained through the powers of science or like observable evidence.
Okay. Just as a side note, I respectfully disagree with your definition of that,
Okay.
but I don't think it's relevant to this point.
Okay.
But you base this on faith, is that right?
Yes. I
Okay.
would say so.
Okay.
And so, like I said, it's kind of hard
Why
to
did you
define
say? Why would you say that? I know that atheists would take issue with that word.
Well, I'm saying that because I was an atheist myself at
Okay.
one point in my life.
Was there a point in your life where you scoffed at people who used faith to be
Yes.
certain?
Absolutely, yeah.
What's your definition of faith?
Faith would be an unhindered belief in something, just having that 100% confidence, like you said, just being completely sure, despite opposing viewpoints.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting definition. Viewpoints. Okay. Just to kind of keep on the same path, and maybe, Beau, is faith an important part of your belief too?
Yes.
Is it?
How would I define it? Is that what you're asking?
Well, number one, is faith one of the main reasons why you think it's true? Is it? Okay. Is your definition much different than his, or how would you define it?
Faith, very simply, I would say, is just believing in God will do what He says. So.
Are you hoping that he will do as he says, or trusting, or
I would say trusting.
trusting?
I feel like that's what faith would be.
Okay.
Like trusting in God.
Trusting he'll do what he says.
Right. What his word
Trusting he
gives.
does. Okay. I'm getting information overload here. So I'm going to try my best to kind of, and if I'm off at any point, then just let me know, because I don't want to misrepresent your position on this.
Sure.
It seems like both of you believe in God, you're 100%, and the majority of it is really resting on faith. It's this unhindered belief despite opposing viewpoints, or trusting that he will do what he says.
Right.
Is faith as a process for arriving at something to be true with 100% certainty the most reliable way to get to that point?
Reliable in what sense, I guess?
Reliable to the point where you would be 100% certain that it was true.
I guess the best way to put it is, faith is such a personal thing. So it's going to be different for everybody. If it's 100% true to you, then I think you have every right to believe that. Because ultimately, there's only so much we can do to prove the existence of God or of any religion, really.
Okay, did you get it done?
Okay. Faith could be different for everyone.
I think what he's trying to get at is, no matter what you believe, you have to have a certain amount of faith to believe in that. So if you believe in, like, for instance, the Big Bang, or if you believe in something else, you have to have faith that that thing is happening. So I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. Does faith, unhindered belief despite opposing viewpoints, or trusting that he's going to do what he says, does faith always lead a person to the same God?
It should. People are people, and they can misinterpret things.
Right.
And you have people like Joseph Smith and other religions that take, I would say, just misinterpret what's being given to them.
Yeah.
But they're using faith, and I've literally had conversations with people that use faith to get to completely different religions, and we would probably all agree that they have a right to believe in whatever they want. Like, I would literally, fight in a war and die to protect your belief and their belief. Their right to believe in whatever they want.
Right.
However, they all, whether I'm talking to a Hindu that believes Vishnu is the one true God, or those two Muslim women that walk by that use faith to know that Muhammad flew to heaven on a winged horse and Allah is the one true God, like, when I have these conversations, it almost always comes down to faith.
Right.
So I'll ask again, do you believe that faith is a reliable method to getting to your God, when you would recognize that people can use faith to come to all sorts of different conclusions?
I guess in response to that, I would ask, what other quality or character could you use to get to the same? Like what else do we have? Is there, do you see what I'm trying to get?
But
I don't know.
Are you saying, Beau, that you have the only thing that you can use to get to the 100% certainty is faith?
I'm saying that, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think faith, yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You were asking what else could you use?
Yes.
So, like, you had said that people use faith to conclude that evolution is true or whatever, Big Bang. The people that are proponents of evolution, and I don't want to get into debate about evolution.
Right.
That's not my intent here. But there are people that would say, I'm 99% certain. They might not say 100, but they might say, I'm 99% certain that evolution's true. And I'm not basing it on a faith, which is unhindered belief despite opposing viewpoints, or just hoping that what I believe is true, in that case. But they would say that they have evidence. They've discovered something to back up their belief. you had said that you have nothing but faith. Is that a way of saying that you don't have any evidence to support the belief?
I wouldn't say so. I'd say, like I said, faith is such a personal thing. You have to find evidence within your own life to make something true. I think there's a reason.
You have to find evidence in your life to make the belief true?
Yes.
Did you find evidence
How does that
as
work?
faith?
Huh?
Did you find evidence as faith?
Are you asking
Faith
me
is
if...
evidence?
Right, I'm saying using faith as evidence.
Well, hold on a second. Like, if a scientist were to conclude that evolution is true, and again, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of that.
Right.
Do you think that scientists would acknowledge that she's using faith to be 99% certain that evolution is true, or would she point to evidence that it's true?
Well, if you're going to be a proponent of something like that, you have to have a reason for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, naturally you're going to have some sort of evidence. I'm not saying that my faith doesn't, like I said, I have evidence in my own life of my faith, but it's going to be very personal to me,
Right.
and it's not going to work for everybody. Some people, they have to be shown different things in order to believe what they believe. You know?
I think that's twice now where you said that faith could be different for different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we agreed that faith could lead people to completely different conclusions. So I guess again, do you think that faith is the most reliable way to be 100% certain that your belief is true?
If we're talking in the world of science, no, of course not. You have to have evidence. But in the world of religion, that's kind of a different beast altogether. The rules are a little different, I think.
Why is it special? Why is it different?
Well, like I said, it's personal. Science tends to have this view of taking humans out of it. We're kind of the alien observers observing natural systems. But with religion, we're an intricate part of that system. We have this faith because we're a part of it. We have that belief. We're not observing things that are going on. We're seeing what's happening in our lives. It's coming to us on a personal level. And with science, we're just observing things that aren't actually happening to us, or at least not in a laboratory sense. You know what I'm saying?
If you look at science though, like scientists, they have their beliefs and they have, for instance, they have the missing link. And if they, I guess what they're saying is if we have this, then we could prove evolution. So they have to have faith in that one piece that they do not have, and they still believe on it, but they have that faith and they still believe, even though they have evidence.
Yeah. Let me try it this way. If you had the option of having evidence to bolster your confidence that the belief in this God is true, or faith, you can choose one or the other, or a mixture of the two. Let's look at a pie chart, and right now it's all faith, it seems like. And you could have the option of supplanting some of that pie chart and carving out some room for evidence. Would you, if you could do that, if somebody gave you that option, would you take them up on it?
Well, naturally, of course, as people, we would want that evidence. But in my faith, in my religion, I would say that that's not how God intends things. If God made it so that there was pure evidence that, we could just believe in him, then there wouldn't be a point to some of the things that he does, and there wouldn't be as much point to our lives as well.
Would there be less confusion in this world if we had more evidence and less faith regarding the existence of your God?
I don't know how much more evidence you can have to prove besides being like 100% there. You know what I mean?
Well, you're basing your 100% on faith, so that's what I'm getting at is, maybe more simply, is faith better than evidence?
I guess the question that I still had unanswered earlier was, could faith equal evidence?
I suppose it's all on how you define it.
And as far as if faith is better than evidence, like I said, in a scientific sense, of course, evidence is always key. It's number one. It's how you, draw to the conclusions that you come to. But with faith, it's a little different. It's not going to be all evidence all the time. It just can't be. It's just not the nature of the thing.
Okay, so I guess bottom line though, if you could have more evidence to bolster the belief, would you jump at the chance?
I mean, sure, if it leads people more to Christ, if they feel more confident in Him, absolutely.
No, I think of Hebrews and how it says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I think that's very true when it's talking about faith and evidence. You know?
Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Have a
Beau?
good one.
Yeah, I give you cards. So.
Great, yeah.
All right.
Cool. Hey,
Say
thanks
hi.
again, Anthony.
Yes, my pleasure. Say hi to Bree for me.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to chat some more, you don't even have to do it on camera if you want, or if Bree wants to chat, just have her email me.
For sure.
Okay?
We'd love to. Cool. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Hope this was what you wanted. So, what is this? Is this a YouTube channel you do? Or
I have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah. If you email me, I'll send you the link to the channel.
Nice.
But yeah, I love chatting with believers to see why they believe it.
Right.
And what I find time and time again, I mentioned earlier, is that generally, regardless of the God, and even I've talked to people that believe in karma and magic and ghosts, they all eventually bring up faith as the reason why they hold the belief with such confidence. And I scratch my head sometimes wondering, this is just me vamping here, why on earth a person could be so certain that faith is reliable if it can lead people to a myriad of conclusions.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess it's all about the action you put into that faith. Because, I mean, faith can be...
I think faith can make you do some great things and make you think that what you're believing is true. But I always get a little concerned when I hear people using faith as a method to be so certain that it's true.
Right. I
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, for me, it's personal. It's things that happen in my life that, like I said, I was an atheist. I read everything, you know, Nietzsche, Socrates, all the philosophers and stuff, and I thought that, like, oh, God is dead, you know, like, there's nothing in this world for me. Everything sucks. You can't find happy. You can't even be happy in like just the pleasures of the world, you know. It's just like there's nothing here for me. It wasn't until I talked with people about God.
Is that a raindrop?
Not sure.
I just felt the water drop.
It wasn't really until I met people who really believed and I guess taught me what it means to believe, because it's easy to make fun of Christians today. You know, it's very easy to.
Any religious people, really.
Yeah, we bring about our own stereotypes pretty badly.
Well, atheists do as well.
Yeah, that's true too.
Can I gently correct you on your definition of it?
Yeah,
okay.
I was interested in what you...
Yes. You said that an atheist is one who is sure. Generally, atheists don't claim to know that there's no God. It's a lack of a belief. So there's a difference between believing that there's no God and knowing that there's no God.
Okay.
So the definition of an atheist is a person who doesn't believe there's a God. It's very rare to meet an atheist that says, I know there's no God.
Right.
Because then they're taking on some a certain sort of burden to be able to demonstrate it.
I guess in my understanding, I've always classified that as agnosticism.
It is agnostic.
Yeah.
Okay, well what? The believing part?
Just
the agnosticism...
that there may not be a God, but there may be a God, don't know.
No.
Whereas
that was, I identified as an agnostic for a long time until I realized what the true definitions were. So I'm atheist now. I'm actually an agnostic atheist.
Okay.
I don't believe there's a God, but I also don't know that there's not a God.
Well,
Okay.
Wouldn't that just make you a regular agnostic then?
No. Agnostic, if someone's Gnostic, they say that I know for sure about something. Like, you might be Gnostic Christians. You know that your God exists. Maybe. You didn't go that far because the question was about belief. You are Gnostic. Well, you guys are theists, right? You believe that your God exists.
Correct.
I'm an atheist. I don't believe that a God exists. Generally, people use the term loosely agnostic to mean it's a safer, gentler word of atheist, because atheist has a lot of negative connotations, like you've been pointing out. So I hope I didn't confuse you on that.
No, it's just, I guess that was always my understanding of the words.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm agnostic because I don't know that your God doesn't exist. Your God may very well exist.
Right, yeah.
I don't go that far to say your God doesn't exist.
Right.
If I did, I'd be a Gnostic atheist. I'd be saying that I know that your God doesn't exist, and I also don't believe that it doesn't exist.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking with
Sometimes I just wake up in the morning and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and it seems like what we're doing is kind of crazy. But like, I don't know, you see it in other people and you see it in yourself, and you just see, at least for me, what God has done in my life and how He's changed me and how I view the world. And that's what makes a difference for me. And I guess that's where that faith comes in. It is a personal thing. And that's the most frustrating thing I think an atheist can hear, because they want evidence for things. They want to be able to prove something. They want to be able to make a math equation out of it. But it's got to be something more than that.
Two things.
Okay.
First, does a person have to believe in a God to live a happy life?
Yes.
Yes. Wow.
I think so.
Okay.
I would say a joyful life.
Okay, I would respectfully disagree with you, and I think I'd be a perfect example of that.
Okay.
I have a wonderful life without any gods. But that's a whole different topic. But let's not get into that. The second thing is, you were talking about atheists want to know things, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
that's why you're
They
here,
want
right?
evidence,
Yeah.
right? Sure, like if there was evidence for your God, I would definitely look into it. Most atheists that I know want to believe true things. Most theists that I run into, like yourselves, also want to believe true things. That is something that I think we all have in common. We're all on a quest for truth.
Sure.
But I think the tools that we use, our different camps, whatever you want to call it, I think we're placing different weights on the tools that are available to us. I could probably use faith to conclude that there's life on Mars, because I really, really want there to be life on Mars, because I think it'd be freaking awesome.
Well, I mean, really wanting something isn't the same thing as faith, I would say. But yeah, I think there is a difference there. You can't just want something to be there and that's your faith. That's not how my faith works.
But I guess what I'm getting at is like, okay, let's say I don't want life to be on Mars, okay? But I can still use faith to conclude that there was life on Mars. I think faith can be used whether I want it or not.
I don't think you can. You can't use faith to conclude that there is life on Mars. I don't know. That's not.
Why not?
That's because, like I said, that's in the world of science. That's not how science works. Science, you have to have the basis of evidence.
Can you give me an example of something that I could not use faith to conclude is true?
Could not use faith to conclude it's true?
Name one thing that I can't use faith to conclude
You can't.
isn't true.
Well, you can't say that UTSA is going to do awesome this year in football because you believe that they're going to.
Let me answer that question.
I mean, if faith is unhindered belief despite opposing viewpoints, wouldn't I be able to do that?
Well, okay, I guess you're right. I guess that would be your faith, but you wouldn't be able to make a conclusion that it is true.
Sure, I could. Well, maybe as a homework assignment, can you just think about an instance where a person could use faith the way that you're using it to conclude that your God is true and not arrive at any completely different conclusion?
But yeah, I mean, I do it with my Bible studies, I mean, by teaching them the Word, I tell them what's true, at least to me. Well, not just to me, but it is true.
Okay.
Could I give you a
Sorry.
number to contact and maybe clear up some questions? Maybe?
You can email me.
Sure. Because, yeah, I definitely want to.
Yeah, I don't want to give out any numbers on the live stream.
Sure,
No, yeah,
absolutely.
People be calling me up.
I didn't know you had
I didn't know it was still on this.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't checked. Sometimes it overheats in the sun.
Yeah, I'll email
this
it to
is-
you.
I'm not trying to offend you or anything. I'm trying to, be respectful about this. I'm just saying, but I'm kind of curious because you say that you do live a happy life, and as far as I know, I'm be willing to believe that. But if you were truly happy knowing that there is no God, I guess you said you didn't know.
I don't
You didn't
know there's no God.
right?
Yeah.
Are you looking for something spiritual? Because most people, they don't go on live streams doing stuff like
Right.
this. So it's
Yeah.
like-
I know. Why is he doing this? What's his motivations?
Yeah, so
There's a lot of things there, and I'm losing my train of thought. Can you repeat it again?
like.
Besides
it's-
the why are you
it's-
doing this?
It sounds to me that you're still spiritually searching for something.
Okay. I'm not entirely convinced that spiritual things even exist. But if they do, I want to know about it.
Okay.
But I can't base a belief on faith. I wouldn't want, if I discovered I was basing any belief on faith, whether there was life on Mars, or that there wasn't life on Mars, or that I'm the cutest guy on this campus, or whatever. If I discovered that I was using faith for anything, personally, my confidence would drop from the 100 to probably the 3%. Because I recognize that people are using that method to get to all different kind of beliefs, which is why I want to encourage you to maybe think about what instance could possibly ever exist where I can use faith and not conclude that it was true.
Use faith and not conclude that it's true?
Am I using, can a person, here's maybe an easier question.
Okay.
Can a person use faith to conclude that anything is true? Don't even answer it now. But just run through scenarios through your head.
Okay.
Could I use faith to know that that's true? Yeah. Could I use faith to know that that's true? Yeah. Could I use faith to know that that's true? Yeah. What's an instance where you couldn't use faith to know that something was true? And if you find that I can use faith to know that anything's true, I'd ask you to just kindly reevaluate the importance of faith in the accuracy of this belief.
You know, if it was just faith that kept me as a Christian, I mean, I would still be an atheist. You know, I would still be living that life.
Do you find faith as a good thing? Is that correct?
Yes, I do. It's personal things, the miracles I've personally seen in my life that have changed the way I look at things. And it's the belief that those miracles were done by God and Jesus has affected my life.
Do you know that those things happen because of faith?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, happened because of faith? Like,
do you believe that they happen because you're basing it on faith?
yes, I think. If I understand your question correctly, yeah.
All right.
I think I'm sorry, I keep going back. I think faith could be used as evidence. For example, many archaeologists that I've watched some videos, and like they're very devout atheists, very devout, and they were seeking some truth, and they're like, you know, we don't know this and this, and they kept studying, and I don't know where it was, but a lot of them came to the faith of Christianity based on, I guess, evidence and faith.
You talking about like the Dead Sea Scrolls? Or
No.
I think he's talking about scientific people can have God beliefs. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not. Very, very bright people find value in faith. There's no question about that. So, all right.
Interesting.
That was fun.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Sorry we went a little more time.
No, this is why I come out here, to have these talks. So that was great.
Appreciate it.
You guys have a good day.
Hey, I'm glad we got to talk to you.
Me too. Yeah, and say hi to Bree for me.
I will.
But I'm curious to hear from her if she wants to talk some more.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
We could even meet the three of us, the four of us. We'll go out to lunch sometime.
Yeah.
We could get James too.
Yeah.
I'll leave the cameras behind and we'll just go somewhere for lunch.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Bree and I like to go to local sometimes. So, do you know what local coffee is? It's just a coffee shop on Sonterra and Stone Oak. Sorry, I probably
Stone Oak?
given.
No, it's okay.
Directions.
We haven't put the date and time,
Okay.
so. It's that busy. Is it that busy intersection there?
You know where 1604 is?
Yeah. 1604 and 281.
Yeah.
Or is it Stone Oak?
It's off Stone Oak. You turn into Stone Oak, and then there's a place called Sonterra.
Yeah.
And there's actually indie coffees opening up on UTSA Boulevard.
Oh, that's even
There.
closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live fairly close by, so maybe closer would be better.
Yeah,
But
we could
yeah,
definitely.
we'll set something up.
I'll email you.
I'd love that.